Hi, I'm Jason Jordan, Senior Sound Designer at Sonovox, and today I'm going to show you how to get the very best out of Vocalizer. I've been working with Vocalizer for quite some time now. I gotta say, it's by far the most unique and awesome plugin I've ever worked with. And here's why. It's an audio input-based synthesizer. It takes an audio input source and extracts frequencies from that audio input, modulates it a number of ways, and then spits out these unique textures never heard before. Now there are a number of presets that are already inside Vocalizer, but for a single preset you can have an infinite number of possibilities, and that's because the audio source is determined by you. So for every single audio source you put into it, you're going to get a different result, and that's what makes it so cool. Now let's get into the demo here, and I'll show you how this thing works.
So the first thing that I'm going to do is take an audio recording of me just going shh, and I'm going to put it through the Vocalizer, then explain some controls as I'm changing certain parameters. I have my MIDI controller here, and it has a number of knobs and faders that are already assigned to different parameters on the Vocalizer. By the way, every parameter on the Vocalizer is automatable. All right, so the first thing you're going to hear is my voice, and then it looping, and then going through the Vocalizer. Now this is going through the Vocalizer. With the spread at 0, you'll get more dry signal, and as you start to turn it up, you hear it push more towards positive harmonics. Now if you start to add a tiny amount of spread on the bottom, some secondary frequencies come out. Now we'll change the position of the bottom. Now let me quickly explain the primary voice and secondary voice. The audio signal enters into the primary voice, and the spread knobs extract harmonics, positive or negative, from that audio input source. The position will tune that input source, and the scale will actually determine the amount of range for the position in octaves. So if the scale is set to 8, the position 0 to 100 will be a range of 8 octaves. Now 0 is a special case in which it gives you an octave lower than scale 1. The closer to 1 you are in spread, the more positive harmonics. The closer to 0, the closer you are to your dry audio input source, and then -1 negative harmonics. Now row 2 of knobs is exactly the same as row 1, but with the addition of row 2, you're able to add additional frequencies or cancel out other frequencies. And the secondary voice is an additional set of harmonics that are pre-programmed scale, position, and spread. You can tune them up or down an octave. You can also turn them on or off clicking the blue lights. Now the next thing I'm going to show you is the PV filter. PV stands for primary voice, so this filter is specifically on the primary voice. Now there are a couple different types of filters. You have your regular low pass and high pass filters, and then there are 2 different filters called Disperse A and B. Now what Disperse does is disperses the signal across the frequency spectrum. And you're going to want to do this with things like singing or any kind of pitch source. So you hear as we move the frequencies up, the different textures that you can get. Cool, so now we have some very basic examples of the primary, secondary voice, and the P filter working together. Now you take these things and you put them through the delay and chorus and EQ, these effects that we have built into Vocalizer, and you can really get some cool things going. So let's take a listen to some of this now. Now, this is just in that one signal. Remember, the audio signal was just of me going shh. Let's try something a little bit different with this same exact patch. We're going to put a drum beat through it, and we're not going to change anything. We're going to keep it exactly how it is. Here we go. So it's easy to understand the infinite possibilities with Vocalizer. A couple other things to try are sticking it on a bus and sending multiple audio channels through it. Something else would be putting it on single drums like kicks or snares and tuning those. Also try putting them on guitars. Really, I'm excited to see what you're going to do with Vocalizer. So let your imagination run wild. Thank you. I'm Jason Jordan, Senior Sound Designer at Sonobox.